Welcome back to Outriders. In this video, I want to talk to you about the patch that we had, which has taken these developers a couple of weeks to actually release. So, reading through the patch notes, are you ready for the massive patch that People Can Fly have released for this game? So the notes are: implemented a block that prevents players from kicking other players towards the end of an expedition session, implemented region-based matchmaking to improve the quality of multiplayer connections, updated the login signing in text to better reflect the current signing in process step, fixed crash and memory leak issues. Ta-da! Patch notes done. This was in the works from before they released the damage mitigation patch, and they have literally changed 4 things. They have a dev news, which I'll quickly go over because it's very short. And then I will get into the actual changes, how they feel in-game, because I have managed to get on and do some testing. It's the gameplay you're seeing in the background as well. So we are also making good progress on identifying and resolving outstanding sign-in issues, particularly on Xbox. Currently, we're also testing out some legendary drop rate changes with the intention to make them less frustrating, more satisfying. We will share further information on these potential changes when we can. Our team's also hard at work on the Stadia version of the game with upcoming fixes and stability updates as we aim to get a fully integrated solution soon. We are investigating continued reports of player survivability issues. As we previously explained in our latest news and known issues blog post, we are looking to explain in the near future some of the deeper mechanics at play with Outriders. So, the reason you're not surviving enough is because you don't know the deeper mechanics, not because the enemies are multi-hitting in one attack. Finally, we're also testing out some initial player buffs, and we'll share news of these potential changes when they go live. Other tracked issues currently under investigation can be found in the latest news and known issues thread. Our next patch is already underway, and we'll share more news of it as soon as we have tangible release details. So, the dev news, to cover that up, sign-in issues are still there on Xbox. They're testing out legendary drop rate changes, which I feel they've already implemented back-end, and they're basically already live in the game, and they're just going to work on them from there. That's how I feel personally, based on my playtime today. They're working on the Stadia version. That should have started at launch. They're investigating continued reports of player survivability issues. Just fucking listen in the first place. Would have been sorted out by now. They're also testing initial player buffs. And yeah, let's just hope there's no nerfs to go alongside those. They've said that you can find other issues that are under investigation in their news and known issues thread, which hasn't been updated at all since they released this article. And their next patch is already underway, which will probably take 2 or 3 weeks, and will possibly have 4 fixes again. So the patch itself implemented a block that prevents players from kicking other players towards the end of an expedition. This is an incredible change, but the way it works... Basically, I played Outriders of Enoch. It's the only one I was able to host because I was just trying to matchmake myself. What they do is the kick from party option is available the entire time you play an expedition. The only time you cannot kick, and what they've done to implement this feature, is when you get to the boss fight of an expedition. So Outriders of Enoch, when those behemoths spawn in right at the end before the 2 brood mothers and all the Strixes and stuff, you cannot kick. It simply locks that feature. So, very good. You can't be kicked from the boss area. You can still be kicked before that. But the thing is, this game has been developed, published by a bunch of incompetent morons. They break way more than they fix with every single patch they have released. All this stuff you are hearing about today is stuff that should have been fixed at the launch. Like, it shouldn't have ever been an issue. This stuff should have been there from the get-go, but we are talking 9 weeks into the game. We're talking the point of time where there are 5,200 players concurrently playing on Steam at a peak in like any 24-hour period. They currently, at the time of, like, just before I started recording this, there was only 2,800 people playing on Steam. Yes, there are consoles, they have different numbers, but that is not the point. This game peaked at 125k. Now, they can barely keep 5,000 in a 24-hour period, and that is because of their incompetence and how they have designed this game. If, for some reason, there is a bug that messes up with that kick from party, or there is a way for someone to bypass it, then the whole system's fucked. We're going back to square one. of them having to do more stuff because of a possible bug that might come in at some point in the future. This isn't a definite. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but knowing the history of this development team and their patches, it is possible for there to be a thing that unlocks that feature so players can be kicked from the end of expeditions again. The better route they should have taken with this is when you get to the end of an expedition, when you get to that boss fight, completely remove the kick from party feature. Don't just lock it, because that means there is a chance of unlocking. Not only that, they can lock the kick from party option so players can't do it. Why the fuck can you not lock our gear so players can't accidentally dismantle it? There is so much wrong with how they've implemented this change. Yeah, it might work different from kick from party to gear and all that sort of stuff, but it's basically the laziest option they could have taken. It should have, at that point, been completely removed so there are no possible bugs with that feature that could mean players still get kicked. Not only that, part of the issue was the servers. It wasn't always people kicking other players. But then moving on, implemented region-based matchmaking to improve the quality of multiplayer connections. That shit should have been there during the fucking demo. Literally, the entire time players have had their hands on with this game, that stuff should have been there. You should always release your game starting with region-based matchmaking. You don't want to be on European servers and get matched with, I don't know, let's say Asian servers or American servers or literally anything. Obviously, the further away from your country, the tougher it's going to be. So for me playing on European servers, I don't want to be matched with Americans at all, realistically, because that's going to make the connection dreadful. Every time I've played in the past with people from America, if I'm hosting, they've got 100 plus ping. If they're hosting, I've got 100 plus ping. It should always be the last resort if region-based matchmaking doesn't work. I don't have a problem of playing games with anyone across the world. I don't personally care about the ping. I'm happy to put up with it as long as it's not 300 plus and it's to the point of me not being able to play. But my point is, region-based matchmaking should have been there because you don't want to start off the launch of a game matching European players with American because of how bad that connection is going to be. So don't take this out of context, do not fucking take me wrong on that. It's all based on the region-based matchmaking. But my problem, further extending my problem, is because of the lack of players on the game right now, they've sorted out the region-based matchmaking. So at 4 o'clock in the morning my time, is there going to be issues matchmaking outside of my region? When everyone's asleep in the UK and I still want to play, or someone else still wants to play, and we start matchmaking, is it therefore going to take minutes and minutes of our time to find a game because has something fucked up in the system? But not only that, the only difference I see now with the matchmaking is you go into a game and they do not any longer tell you your connection. Because yes, in general, it did feel that little bit smoother, but at the same time, I was still lagging in every game I played where I was not the host. Where I was the client, I was still lagging. That is because they are P2P servers, and you can't just dock to them and expect for it to work. You need to ditch the shitty servers and buy dedicated. They've made enough money off this game to purchase dedicated servers to make the experience better. They don't need to run a shitload of servers anymore. There's not enough players for that to need to be done. But in every single game, I'm now still lagging. Even if it's a lot better than it was, I'm still lagging because of the state of the actual servers themselves. No fixing, no doctoring or patching or anything is going to make that better. You might make it a little bit better than it currently is, but you'll never get it to a smooth connection because of the type of servers. However, now they just don't display that you're on a yellow or a red bar connection. It just doesn't have that connection error in the top right corner of your screen. So again, a lazy fucking change from these developers. They've updated the login signing in text to better reflect the current signing in process step. That's so they can get more tailored feedback, more direct, in-depth, sort of detailed feedback from the players. But the point, my issue with that, to say, is basically they don't fucking listen to anything we tell them anyway. They fixed the Broodmothers. It's every enemy in the game that had damage mitigation. They still, 9 weeks later, haven't done the player appreciation package, so they don't appreciate fuck all. They're asking for all these in-depth response, the bits of feedback basically. The responses are in-depth and they're not listening, not taking it on board. But now they're going to say that they've done that so they can see where the sign-in issues are lying. Just fucking fix signing in. It should have been done way before now. It was an issue on PS4, they fixed it, brought it over to Xbox. Now a lot of Xbox players can't sign in. And instead of going, oh, we're putting more and more resources into fixing the sign-in issues on Xbox, they go, these are still underlying issues, we'll get round to fixing this shit soon. But right now what we've done is instead, you can just see a more detailed description of where the signing in is fucking up. Completely pointless. And then fixed crash and memory leak issues. They're still doing that 9 weeks after their launch. I'm not going into detail with that bollocks, I shouldn't have to. They fixed crash and memory leak issues 9 weeks later. Let me just say, before we wrap this up, because Helen, someone that I talked to on Discord, friend from the channel, we have been talking that I've got a video coming up soon. She's managed to get level 52 gear in this game. Yes, absolutely fucking crazy. Especially when I do that video, you guys see how much that shit costs to upgrade. But basically, we've been talking, and she's been talking about, she's absolutely loving Biomutant, level 47 currently, going through all of the game, absolutely loving her time on that game. However, Outriders, People Can Fly, development studio of over 300 people worldwide. They do a patch which takes weeks and it has 4 patch notes. Biomutant, there will be a video on the channel very, very shortly. You can see how big their patch notes are. This patch for Biomutant must have had at least 30, 40, maybe 50 fixes released around a week after the launch of the game. And not only that, there's about 20 or 25 people working on the entire game. There is absolutely no fucking excuse for People Can Fly having this little in their patches. They have no excuse for it. They have separate teams working on separate stuff within this game, and they still can't do anything at all efficiently. This is just fucking outrageous. They need to get their shit together. But obviously nothing we say or do is going to make a difference. They don't, literally, they do not care in any way, shape or form. They've got their money. They're now just trying to retain the small player base they've got just so that those people can hype up their upcoming DLC more than likely. However, we're going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about it in the comments. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I'm fucking fuming. Matchmaking, yes, does feel a little bit better. Players can't be kicked from the end of expeditions. Yes, good change. But it's not enough. It really, really isn't. But let me know your thoughts and stuff below. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.